and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host Zoe with my co-host on the other side, Cantu. How you doing? It's almost here.
Good.
The
I know,
weekend is almost
good.
here.
Ready for the weekend for sure. Gonna be heading out to go cover the Mexico Brazil game. Trying to hopefully catch us a super regional over there in our alma mater Aggie land. So it'll be pretty good weekend to have. How about yourself?
Good. Just getting ready for the weekend. Gotta go to a cousin's graduation. I wish I could go that super regional, but family comes first for me. So it should be fun for you though. I mean, then again, it's gonna be packed as
Yeah,
hell over there at the BCS land of Bryan College Station.
yeah. I'm hoping. I haven't got any updates yet, but I'm hoping that credential comes with a parking pass for sure because it's gonna be hectic.
You you better hope. You better hope because it's gonna be hell trying to find parking. It's almost like over here, like in downtown Houston, just trying to find parking for the Astros game, I guess you could say. And you would have to
Yeah,
go block by block. Aggie Land is just another different breed.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
parking to the neighborhood almost.
Oh, remember when we went to a Clemson game? We literally walked from our apartment.
Our apartment.
Yeah,
Dude,
so
that
we got
was like
dropped
what?
off halfway.
Yeah, that was like a 20-minute. If we would have walked literally from our apartment to Kyle Field, that kid you not, that probably would be a 30 to 45-minute walk.
Well, we walked back. Remember? So like going to from the apartment to the game, we got dropped off halfway, then walked. But on the way back, we literally walked from Cowfield all the way to our apartment. You remember that? That's great.
Memories, the memories back then. Hopefully, we can go to a game in Kyle Field this year. I know Notre Dame's going to be out there.
Could be a good one.
Texas, of course. I know that one's going to be sold
Good
out.
luck on that one.
Yeah,
Like the $1,000 tickets. Not gonna
I might
lie.
have to sell a kidney for that one, honestly,
Probably
or
two.
sell some plasma at that point, or two. Listen to you. Anyway, Astros baseball episode 184. Astros go bird hunting at the juice box. They are not hunting Orioles. They're not hunting Blue Jays. They are hunting Cardinals. And I don't even think you can hunt for that specific bird specifically in real life. But we're gonna go with the title like that because it sounds cool. So they go bird hunting at the juice box, taking 2 out of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals. Third game could have been, but you know how that situation had gone for the Astros. But we'll give you the recap against the Cardinals series. Some devastating news for the Astros starting rotation as Cristian Javier and Jose Urquidy have officially been announced out for the rest of the season. Who's invited to the Carne Asada? Pitching preview against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. News from the train station and around the horn. But Cantu, before we get everything started, let everybody know where they can follow us.
Yeah, full steam ahead on Twitter, on Instagram. Instagram is FSA full steam ahead. We are there on TikTok as well, full steam ahead. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you are, wherever you listen, whatever media you use, we are there. But
Yes, we
before
are.
we start, I don't know if you saw the Orbit shenanigans this Sunday. It was like I kind of don't pay attention to them, like because we're usually either writing or something like that. But on Sunday, it was pretty clever. He was wearing like a little old man suit. He put up a chair and then threw some bubble gum at the Cardinals warming up. You know, kind of like bird feeding.
Mhm.
It was pretty clever. That was funny.
That's that old man mentality. Like when you're retired and you're just on your front porch, just rocking back like that, rocking back and forth on your rocking chair, just looking at the view. You have a little bit of birds come here and there. You don't have a bird feeder. All right, let's just throw a little bit of seeds right
Yeah,
here. Let the birds come over here and do it. But yeah, that was clever on Orbit. I think he's up for mascot Hall of Fame. I want to say.
is he?
If
Oh,
I'm not mistaken, I think you can vote for him for mascot Hall of Fame. So
nice.
yeah, Orbit shenanigans, everybody. But the Astros record right now is 28-35. They're close to that 30-win threshold, but they are 2 wins away from getting there. They finished the homestand 3-3 against the Minnesota Twins and the St. Louis Cardinals. What would you say then about this homestand being evened out 3-3? What would you describe it?
I think they could have uh, either taken one more out of Minnesota or even swept the Cardinals as well. Yes, they finished at 500, but I think if you ask any of the Astros player, they'll tell you they should have been a lot more wins than that.
Yeah, like I said, I think the Cardinals series could have been sweepable. Well, we'll talk about that right here. But the Twins, I think the only one you could say is Pablo Lopez. That first game
Yeah,
against him, I mean, he looked dominant. You couldn't really hit his changeup. The fastball was there. The command was pretty solid. And that's the only game I think that the Astros couldn't have won, because
Mhm.
the other one, Game 3, series finale, was very winnable. But let's not go the past. Let's move on to the present. Let's talk about this Cardinal series real quick. I mean, it was an offensive series, I would say. This is probably one of the first I've seen the Astros bats really clicked in all cylinders throughout this series. And let's give a little bit of taste of the Astros um, being behind when the opponent scores first, because I remember you pulled me to the side and you told me about that, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty true. Well, all 3 games the Cardinals scored first before the Astros, and 2 of them the Astros came back.
Yeah.
So for Friday night's game, Astros were 10-21 when the opponent scores first before, like I said, Friday night game. Well, the Astros kind of flipped the switch on both Friday and Saturday's games and won both of them. Specifically, Friday, they came back in the 8th inning, putting up a 4 spot, man. That's pretty impressive from the Astros hitters. Bregman started off getting a game-tying home run. Yainer Diaz, we'll talk him in a few seconds, 2-run go-ahead home run. And then Jose Altuve added an insurance run with an RBI double. Astros scored 7 runs in the first 4 innings of the Saturday's game. You remember it was like 7-1, 7-2, and then the Cardinals slowly started coming back a little bit, 7-4, 5, and then the Astros kind of put it away at the end of the day. But what do you think about the offensive performance, especially with Kyle Tucker not playing game 1 and then Bregman not playing game 2? I
It
mean,
was well needed.
game 3 actually.
It was well needed for sure. I think this is the offensive production the Astros are going to need from now on in order to kind of flip the switch on that division or record. As you can say again, they're still 7 games below 500. So if they want to catch up and be in competition, that offense has to be key. Like the pitching wasn't perfect, but it was just enough to win the games, and it was that because of the offense being able to score a lot of runs. Because in the past 2 series, the Astros have been scoring in either 1 inning or scoring like less than 3 runs, 4 runs, and then the pitchers again are going to falter at times, and sometimes you got to pick them up with that offense, and that's what they did this time.
Yeah, they put a lot of impressive at bats against some tough pitching
Yeah,
against the St. Louis Cardinals. Miles Mikolas kind of looked like the only one to kind of have the Astros number, but they did a great job on Andre Payante, being a rookie that he is. I mean, that was his second game started in this season specifically. Hasn't pitched a game like starting since 22.
yeah.
And then as well as the first guy, Kyle Gibson, which he's a veteran and he didn't do a bad job against the Astros, but the Astros were able to get to that bullpen of the Cardinals. So great at bats all around from the Astros lineup. Yainer Diaz specifically, question mark, is he back? Is he back?
Treading in the right direction. Like we usually say, a blue can kind of turn the game around. Sometimes you need some confidence, and that's been the key for Yainer Diaz. You did a really great job. Kind of like was responsible for a few of the wins, this like in St. Louis too. So a really great job by him. I think he can easily turn it around. He didn't play the first 2 days in June. Maybe that's what he needed, a few days off to get his mind right, and it kind of showed that was the case.
Yeah, think about it too. We talked about the last episode. Is Victor Caratini started a trend into the Astros starting catching role, or how's the platoon looking like? Because we're really discussing about it. We've seen a little bit of trend of Victor Caratini coming up and starting some games here and there, but looking like Yainer Diaz so far is looking pretty good in the backstop. 3 for 11 with 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. 3 of his hits were all home runs.
Okay.
And he had 3 consecutive home runs this series, specifically 2 of them going to the opposite field. And we talked about it. We've talked about it. Let's me and you at least. We saw it on Friday. He was hitting in the cage, and the 2 players, one was a former player and a Hall of Famer, and one of them probably is trending into being a future Hall of Famer. Jose Altuve and Reggie Jackson were there looking at him hit. Obviously, does his little BP round, comes out. Altuve talks to him for a little. Altuve does his thing. Reggie Jackson starts talking to him a little too, as well.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to have those veterans, a Hall of Famer like Reggie Jackson specifically, be in them tough situations through the 70s and the 80s growing up playing baseball. And then Altuve too. I mean, starting off slow, which right now I think he has a little slow start since beginning of March and April, but him being that batting title winner, Silver Slugger winner, he's been there and done that, and he's kind of helped Yainer Diaz. And obviously too, when he hits a home run, when anybody hits a home run, I think Jose Altuve is the first one out of that dugout to go out there and give him a high five or hug or however he wants to welcome his guy.
Yeah, team player right there.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a good thing that Yainer Diaz is trending in the right direction, but we're gonna have to continue monitoring it. You don't know after these 3 home runs, you don't know if he's gonna catch cold all of a sudden or he's just gonna continue rising up. So we'll have to see what happens there. But let's talk about Ronel Blanco because another shaky start, I would say for him. I want to ask you specifically: 5 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. What do you consider this? Do you see it as a good start or possibly a bad start?
He did his job. I mean, he did his job. He gave you five. He gave the Astros 5 2/3 inning. That's going to want as a pitcher. Yeah, I mean, he could have avoided a little bit less runs, right? A little bit more command and control, but he's been perfect almost the entire first half of the season so far. He deserves a little mishap here, like here and there too. You know, it can always be perfect on the mound. So, for the most part, I'm not looking too bad on this start by Ronel Blanco. I think he did his job. I think sometimes the offense needs to help you out a little bit, right?
Mhm.
But overall, really good job. There was a few counts here or there that could have changed the game around. I know there was like I know you were going to talk about it a bit, but there was a crucial mistake by one of the umpires that kind of was costly there. But other than that, I mean, it was a good start for Ronald Blanco. Now, if he could continues to kind of like dip in previous next starts, and that's something to monitor on. But it's something to monitor because he's not really in this situation before. He hasn't started the entire season. Again, this is a marathon. I think he's had, if I remember right, I believe he's only his highest he pitched was 125 innings. Could have been a lot less than that. So, kind of kind of monitoring that would be kind of crucial to see because it kind of reminds me of Hunter Brown and JP France at the end of the season. Like they started off really good, they got fatigued there a little bit, and then started to wind down.
Yeah, let's go real quick to what you were talking about. 3-2 count to Pedro Pajes, I want to say in the 5th inning. And the umpire completely missed the call for him. I mean, it was wide open through the gate. You could really see it on the strike zone app on MLB. And that strike should have been a strike, but it was called a ball on the home plate umpire. Pajes gets his walk. Even Pajes, too, if you were looking at the game, he looked shocked that he was getting the walk call. He was already
Yeah,
kind of walking back to the dugout a little. But anyway, that happens. He goes to first. And then it just kind of changes the dynamic of the game because after that at bat, the next batter up kind of did a little sack bunt, moved Pajes to second, runner in second base with 2 outs, and I think it was Brandon Crawford or Brendan Donovan, one of those guys, because he had a flow of his hair. Hit an RBI single to the right side of the field, but 2 runs scored in that 5th inning, and the game was 1-1 or 1-0 actually, and then it turned into 3-0.
yeah,
So that 2 runs scored in that 5th inning was, I would say, very crucial into this game.
yeah,
And if you really look at the game too, if those 2 runs don't score, the Astros hit them 2 home runs from Diaz and Trey Cabbage, it would be a tie ball game 2-2. I want to say maybe in the 6th or 7th inning, and then from there, whoever goes on to win it wins it. And right now, I think the Astros, specifically with their bullpen, how they've been pitching, I think the Astros could have had a great chance, especially with Alex Bregman on the bench, just in case he would need it to be used for a pitch hitting situation. But it's out of Ronel Blanco's hands. He can't really do nothing about it. The home plate umpire made that decision, and at the end of the day, the Cardinals came up on top with the 4-2 win.
yeah. And it's been something to monitor because I made a mistake. I was thinking about his career numbers. He's pitched 123 innings his career, but last year he pitched 52 innings. So
All right, I
I
think
think
he's already past that. Right?
yeah, he's at 64.2 innings right now.
Yeah,
So I mean, this is kind of like uncharted waters for Ronald Blanco because now they're kind of using him as a full time starter. So it'll be it'll be kind of like we need to monitor how to use him. You know, are they going to stretch him out a little bit longer, or are you going to like maybe do a 6 man rotation? But I don't think they have the depth to do a 6 man rotation right now as well. So it's just kind of they have to kind of roll with the punches there. But it's just something to monitor there. But
yeah.
speaking of starting pitchers, Cristian, Javier, and Jose Urquidy are out for the rest of the season. I think this was kind of expected. I know the Astros uh, didn't want to rule out the possibility of them coming back this season, but I think from afar you can kind of see it wasn't great news once they received that second opinion. So just to get under surgery, so Urquidy was operated yesterday on Wednesday, and then Javier is being operated today. Full steam ahead was there getting the coverage, and they didn't really specify if it's Tommy John or not. They just said elbow surgery. One of the media reports asked if it was Tommy John, and Dana Brown basically said once they get more information about the surgery, then they'll be able to comment on that. But really nothing. But Joey Espada was visibly like disappointed, kind of not not upset, but just like kind of not happy as well because he lost two of his key guys. He says it sucks. It just sucks what Javier and Urquidy mean to this team and organization, what they have done and accomplished. It sucks to see them go down. So I think the morale was kind of like upset there, just because two big guys, you're trying to compete. They're gonna eat. Cristian, Javier, and Jose Urquidy were about to eat some great innings, and then the fact that Urquidy was so close to coming back, it was his last rehab start in the minor leagues, and then being injured in that fourth inning, almost close to finishing that rehab start up, right? Because I believe that was gonna be his last inning of work anyway. So very unfortunate there. Dana Brown also had some comments. He said those guys have added so much for this organization. You never want to lose those kinds of starters. Thank God we still have depth. We do have Brown, who is throwing the ball well, and we have Urquidy, who is throwing well now. Losing Urquidy and Javier is tough, but thank God we have the young kids starting to throw the ball well. I think our rotation is pretty good now. You never want to lose those kinds of arms, but there is no panic because our guys are really throwing well. The last 23 games, ERAs are somewhere around 3. Now, when he said that, I was kind of questioning the depth, right? I understand the Urquidy's pitching better, Hunter Brown's pitching better, but JP France hasn't thrown. McCullers has just been throwing bullpens. Luis Garcia, I think, out of those three, is the closest to coming back. Do you agree with Dana Brown there on the depth that the Astros have? Because, like, again, we don't wish an injury on anybody, but what happens if one more starter goes down? Like you saw Spencer Urquidy get hit in the leg by a hit. I mean, luckily he's okay, but what happens if somebody goes down? What's your backup plan there?
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to do the best at the monitoring situation as of right now. But like you said, I mean, the Astros really don't have any depth in the starting rotation. They really don't. You can't really count on your rookies in the minor leagues because you don't know what's like. You remember that kid, Blair Henley?
Yeah.
Exactly. He didn't finish one. I think he only recorded maybe one out against the Texas Rangers. So, not saying the kid can't do it again because that was a very short notice on the Astros in bringing him in from Sugarland to Arlington in like 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever you want to say. But as of right now, the depth, I mean, you don't know if there's a setback for McCullers. You don't know if there could be a little small minor setback for Garcia. Like you said, you don't even know the future of Urquidy if he's going to continue the trend that he's on. That we did talk to him as well. That his confidence is at a good spot, but at the same time, like you were saying, with Hunter Brown and JP France from past years, they've pitched through so many innings, and then the end of the season, maybe in September, they kind of start getting to fatigue. When the postseason starts, you saw how JP France performed against the Texas Rangers. Same thing as Hunter Brown as well. Not saying that those guys aren't good and they can't eat the amount of innings, but at the same time, you just don't know. Especially Ronel Blanco, like you were saying, 60-something innings last year. That was a total of innings.
52.
I mean 52. Sorry about that. That's where he's at right now. Is 60-something innings.
Yeah, 64 right now.
So Ronel Blanco, like you're saying, this is frankly new for him, trying to get the innings out the way, but at the same time too, Justin Verlander, Framber Valdez, both those guys are your aces, but they've been shaky a couple of starts here and there. Now you lose Cristian Javier, now you lose Jose Urquidy. Now you have to depend on Hunter Brown, and now you have to depend on Spencer Urquidy. That's five guys right there. Now you're gonna have to wait for Luis Garcia and Lance McCullers Jr., which Garcia, like you said, he's the one trending in the right direction, coming back sooner than McCullers. But with McCullers now, it's like, okay, well, when is he set to come back? He's set to like maybe in late July, early August, because that's where it's looking at right now. And not to mention, Dana Brown said, because we were there, that they're going to be buyers. They are not
Yeah.
selling. So my question too is, who are you buying? Who are the Astros are going to buy at the deadline? Are they going to frankly look into a lot of starting pitching and frankly not even look at the bats at that point, because at a time you're looking at first base still that could be a place that the Astros need help on and they can go get. But since we're talking about starting pitching, as of right now, to answer the question, I mean, I don't see a lot of depth that the Astros have in the rotation.
Yeah, I'm looking at both the AA and AAA roster right now. Their pitchers.
Mhm.
They only have 5 starting pitchers that have more than one season in the major leagues, and those 5 are the starting rotation for the Astros. Besides Eric Lar, who pitched with Milwaukee, that's pretty much it. And he hasn't done a pretty like he hasn't done a great job over there um in AAA. He was injured for a good portion. Pitched 1 start. I think he's 0-1 with a 6+ ERA. So not too hopeful there. Someone that Danny Brown did praise a lot was AJ Blue something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know who you're talking about.
maybe look for him right now. He's 3-2 with 3.67 ERA. He has pitched 49 innings this year. So that's a guy that actually Danny Brown mentioned as a guy that could be, as that death when they asked him about that death, right? But as of right now, they only have 5 starters with major league experience in the
Yeah,
major league red level, AAA level, and AA level.
yeah, and if
So
the Astros make the postseason, do you think those minor leaguers are going to perform at the level as a veteran pitcher under the bright lights? Just
I
being
mean,
honest, do you see it?
it's happened before, right? I mean, I'm not saying like it's not an anomaly if they don't, but it'll be very hard for them to kind of be like a great portion of this like generation that's in the major league system have played in high level games like in playoffs in high school, college, or even in AAA, right? But
Mhm,
it's nothing compared to postseason in the major leagues, right? So
mhm.
I know some people kind of like some players use that as leverage. It was like, well, I've been in this big situation before. That's my experience there, which had talked to them if it works, but like, that's like a small sum of number that can kind of like come in and make an impact right away. But the majority percentage is kind of hard to get going when you spend all your time in minor leagues and then asked to perform in the biggest stage when everybody's watching. It's kind of difficult.
And it's just difficult too. Since we're talking on that real quick, is buying. I mean,
Yeah.
the farm system is depleted. To me, it's like, okay, if you're saying that you're gonna buy, then more than likely you might be looking at guys like Jacob Melton on the move,
Yeah.
possibility Pedro Leon on the move, because them are the Astros' 2 highest rated prospects. Luis Baez is another one who's been killing it over there, I want to say in Asheville.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you're trying to replenish your farm system. And if you're saying you're buying now, then you could see them 3 guys out the door and going with another organization. But then again, too, you're going to be competing with other teams who probably have, I would say, some better prospects than the Astros have right now.
Yeah. That's it.
So it's going to be a difficult spot. And Dana Brown specifically this year, and you can even put Joe Spada in this mix this year. This is probably one of the toughest parts of the job that they have to face, and just the toughest position they've ever been in their career as well. Dana Brown being newly as a GM, especially Joe Spada too. Like you were saying in that quote, Joe Spada said it sucks. I mean, the season that he's had as the manager this year, it's been horrific for him because
Yeah.
he has not have anybody healthy. The Astros lineup hasn't been consistently hitting the ball at at a high rate that they've been hitting through the seasons. Seeing them through that time as an assistant coach and Dana Brown too, it's like, man, we have a he walked into a system that's been not the best in Major League Baseball. They probably rank 28, 29, 30.
Yeah.
So for him as a former VP of scouting, he's trying to figure out, okay, well, who do we go at the draft? That's the biggest thing I would say for baseball is that they don't have to trade draft picks like the
Yeah.
NBA, like the NFL. With baseball, you're able to figure out a way to still have your draft picks and pick, some of the players. Bryce Matthews, I don't see them trading him. I
He
just
had a
don't.
he had a 4-for-4 game, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, he did. I just don't see him trading. I don't see them like actually trading. If they
Yeah.
do, then they do because it looks like they're in a win now situation, and I don't see them going back.
It'll be kind of tough. And then the future for these guys, I know Christian Javier's in this year was his second year in that contract extension, so I'm sure he's looking to be back. Donna Brown also asked how Christian Javier was doing. This is what he said. I think Javier was in a decent mood. I think he felt like he was losing his velocity on his fastball, which is something that we talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now knowing that he is going to get fixed and potentially being back here at the end of next July or so, I think there is some relief. So for Christian Javier, morality is still high, like you said. What like he even said, we've been saying that fastball velocity it was going down in 2022. It averaged 94 miles per hour, 91 this year, even touched 89 this year as well. So we kind of saw that trend coming, where it might be something with his arm, and there it was, right? It was when he needs elbow surgery, but morale's there. I think Javier will be back second half of next season. I'm sure, they'll take their time with him too, and I'm sure he'll be doing what he's been doing his entire career. Now with Urquidy, it gets a little bit more conflicted there. I think it's a high chance that Jose Urquidy will probably not pitch for the Astros again. It's a high chance because next year it's his last year of arbitration. He won his
With.
yeah. He won. They settled on a number this year, which is 3.75 million. The Astros are not going to pay him that next year just to pitch half a season. This is second Tommy John surgery. I'm sorry, or like second major elbow surgery because again we don't know if it's Tommy John or not. It's unclear about his future looks like, and the Astros might not even tender him a contract next year as well. It's because the thing with arbitration is I kind of did my research on it because I was thinking, well, how much are they going to pay him next year? They can only pay him they can only reduce his contract by 20%, and that eventually would be $3 million. I don't see the Astros paying him $3 million to pitch half a season.
Oh no, they not even close.
Yeah,
it's nothing against him, but half a season and you're asking for a certain. When they go to these arbitration hearings, they're trying to win over the organization. The organization has the upper hand on this situation.
Yeah. Again, so the future for Urquidy, it's still uncertain. It's still not uncertain there, but it'll be interesting to see how the Astros play that. Go ahead.
Because he's an unrestricted free agent in 2026.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm looking at the next following year. You got Luis Garcia, and then you got Brian Abreu. That's contracts are going to come up off their rookie contracts. So I really don't see the Astros, like you're saying, tendering a contract to him. This could have been his last time pitching in an Astros uniform, which frankly it was in a Space Cowboys uniform. But there's a chance that he could come back next season and maybe perform in August or September because think about it, teams are still going to be searching for pitching. You can't have a lot of pitching in your depth. And with Urquidy, honestly, like I already said it before. I just see him as a bullpen piece now.
Yeah, especially given his injury history, right? So again, second major elbow surgery, dealt with a shoulder injury last year. And then that's been kind of a trend because it was last year in 2021 where he had had that shoulder discomfort as well. It's tough, and I'm sure an organization will give him a chance just given his background and his experience. Again, he is the only Mexican pitcher to win 3 World Series games. He's pretty good in those high level situations, but I don't know if it's going to be the Astros, but he has to pitch to get back, to get a good contract, and half a season might be a small sample size for that.
Yeah, and even Lance McCullers' contract ends in 2027. So the same time as Garcia, same time as Brian Abreu's, up for free agency, McCullers as well would be ending that 5-year extension that he had received in, I believe it was in 21 or 22.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. A little frustrating, I guess you could say, situation for the Astros. I can see from Dana Brown and Joe Espada, but I think they've been there before. I mean, last year, think about it, they're 1-1 away from the World Series, and like I said, I just it's a frustrating situation for both those parties.
Yeah, and then again, like Danner Brown said, they are buyers, like you have mentioned, and they're always in the market for pitching. I think that's gonna be the biggest question mark. But again, uncertainties of who they'll move.
Question:
Uh, Go ahead.
do you see them getting somebody before the trade deadline?
It'll be tough. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do,
Mhm.
but it'll be tough just to maneuver something. Like I know they picked up somebody we're talking about, assume with cash considerations. Maybe a small move like that is what I'm thinking. But if they trade one of the minor leaguers like Pedro Leon or AJ Bluba or Baez, like I'll be kind of surprised there.
Those are the three names. I think even Melton.
Yeah, Matson,
One.
I forgot. Yeah,
I think them are the names that you're looking at if they're active in the trade deadline. I
Yeah.
see them 4 players being moved.
yeah, but it'll be tough because then after that, there's really no backup for pitching, or if Kyle Tucker leaves, and someone has to fill up that role too. So it'll be crazy.
Chas
We'll see.
McCormick too. You could put in that name, or even
Yeah.
Jake Myers. We'll have to see.
Uh, Honestly, now I think my
I don't see Jake Myers, but I'm just saying I'm throwing him in the
yeah.
mix just in case.
If you would
Chas
have
McCormick's in there.
if you would have asked me last year, I would have said Jake Myers for sure. But this year, I think the odd man
It's
out.
so odd. It is so
Yeah.
odd with this outfield depth that the Astros have. It's so
Yeah.
freaking odd.
But I mean, sometimes all you need is a chance. Like check out Corey Jokes over there with the White Sox.
Slashing over there with
Yeah.
the White Sox, man. He is slashing for them. It's good to see him be able to do some good things over there.
Ooh, question. Do you think they look to bring back Brandon Belak?
I don't think so.
No.
Mm-mm. I think they should, but I just don't see the Astros doing it.
Is he did the A's release him completely, or because I know he was placed for assignment, which puts him on waivers. I'm just not sure that they released him for the organization, or is he in their AAA system?
I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't
Okay.
give you an answer on that.
I'll look it up later. But yeah, because I mean, if he's just out in the market, I mean that would be a bad thing. But obviously, if he's in the AAA system with the A's in a trade, it has to be done to get him. So not make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
But moving on to who's invited to the Carne Asada, I think this was an obvious answer. For sure, who's gonna be hosting and bringing the meat? You want to take a guess?
Alex Bregman.
Ooh, Yainer Diaz, 3 home runs,
Oh,
3 runs, 6 RBIs. He's bringing that brisket power there. So, you know what? No,
it sounds good. That shit
yeah.
sounds good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You know what? A brisket sandwich is there. So instead of tortillas, gonna be some buns. Verlander should be bringing the buns with 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Who's gonna be bringing the Lay's potato chips? Gonna be Erden Alvarez with 4 hits, 4 for 12, 1 home run, 3 RBIs. And who's gonna be bringing the drinks or the cervezas? To be Pena, who went 5 for 9 this series with 1 run, 2 RBIs, using his legs a little bit with 1 stolen base and batting .305 this season. So Jerry Pena has, maybe you were onto something there, but something that I have been enjoying seeing Pena is him using his legs. I think there was a deep fly ball down center field when he was in first base and he tagged, from first to second. You don't really see that a lot, but trusting his speed, his instinct, that's always great to see.
I think you got to give credit to the Astros this season, period, using their speed. They didn't steal a lot of bases last year, and seeing guys like Jake Myers, Kyle Tucker, Jeremy
Even
Pena,
Alvarez.
Jose, even Jordan Alvarez has a career high in stolen bases. Jose Altuve, it's good to see. You're putting pressure on the catcher and on the other team, really. And not just that, you're putting yourself in scoring position for the next man that's in the batter's box to bring you in. So I like where the Astros mindset, like I said, coaches have different philosophies from the Hinch era to the Baker era. Well, in the Joe Espada era, you heard it before spring training that they're going to try to steal an extra back here and there, try to take another base from the opposing team. And they've been doing that so far. It's just been a little bit of struggles, I can say, for runners in scoring position. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Just that situational hitting.
Situational hitting. That's the beauty of baseball. From high school to T-ball to college to the major leagues. But let's get it with the pitching preview. Los Angeles Angels, they will be going over there to Anaheim, California, not to go to Disneyland. They're going to play some
Dang.
baseball at Angel Stadium. 24-38 is their record. They are 4-6 in their last 10 games. They are last in the division with the A's having the upper hand with one win over them in that situation. It's not going to be a descriptive pitching preview. We're just telling you their last starts, even who they pitched against the last time when they played against Houston. So let's start off. Can't even talk, dude. Friday night, let's start off. 8:38 start time. Framber Valdez is on the mound for the Astros. 4-3 record with 3.95 ERA. He'll be going against Griffin Canning for the Angels, who has a 2.5 record with a 4.69 ERA. And Framber Valdez, his last start versus Minnesota was really, really good. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Remember, he carried a no-hitter to the 7th inning. Another thing to just keep your head on a swivel. Leads Major League Baseball on ground ball percentage of double plays as well as the ground ball percentage. 66% of the time. That is the 99th percentile, which is one of the best in Baseball Savant. So just looking forward to seeing that sinker and that curveball mix come into play against the Angels. He usually has a great record against those guys, but his last start against them, he kind of struggled. 5 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, reminding everybody that they went off the game plan in that outing against them. But I think he's going to stick with the same game plan. If it worked, I think it's kind of like if it works, then you got to continue doing it. So we'll have to see who's behind the dish as well. It could be Victor Caratini catching another game against Framber Valdez, or it could be Yainer Diaz, who's been hitting the ball pretty well for the Astros. But moving on to Griffin Canning. Last start versus Seattle, 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. His last start against Houston was 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. See adjustments in this game for Canning and as well as the Astros hitters to see what's going to be thrown going into there. But Griffin Canning, his last 3 starts, he's been pretty good for the A's, and just have to see what happens. Saturday night, 9:07 from 8:38 on a Friday night. You go to 9:07 on a Saturday night, which is unbelievable. But I'm pretty sure Astros fans will be up at that time anyway. Hunter Brown, 1-5 record with a 6.18 ERA. He'll be going against Tyler Anderson, 5-5 record with a 2.37 ERA for the Angels. Brown's last start versus Minnesota, he's been pitching really well for them. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He has now collected 3 consecutive quality starts, Angel. He's pitched very well in the month of May, 1-1 record, 3.42 ERA. He has an opponent batting average of 206. This guy looked like he's flipped the switch real damn quick, because at a time we were talking about maybe, we should see him in the bullpen for the Astros when the Astros were kind of healthy with arms, but obviously now that they're not, he's going to be in that starting rotation for a while. So what do you think's been working for him in his last 3 starts? Honestly, having 3 consecutive quality starts, that's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that Hunter Brown's will be throwing that fastball. So one big thing was, the effectiveness of that pitch. But now, in this past 2 starts with the Mariners and also with the Twins, he's been working on that split finger and cutter. He's been throwing those a little bit more, relying a little bit more on movement. It's been pretty crucial for sure. For a split finger, who mostly he throws it to left-handed hitters, he has a 188 batting average there. His cutter, which he throws a mixture of both, to both right-handers and left-handers, 242. So having those pitches in his back pocket to complement that four-seam fastball that he throws, I think that's been pretty helpful in his past 2 starts, as well as the knuckle curves and slider. He likes to throw those mixes in there as well. I think they need to be a little bit more effective, but like his off speed does, but having that velocity and that speed finger and cutter has been really good to complement that fastball.
Yeah, he's just looked like a different pitcher in the month of May, and even right now against Minnesota specifically too. He'll get here and there hit by the long ball. That's like kind of even Justin Verlander's little thing too. Yeah. But pitching really well at this moment, especially at a time where the Astros need it, it's been really good to see for Hunter Brown get back right on track.
And speaking of a split finger, I know this is off topic. I was watching Paul Skeens pitch yesterday against the Dodgers. And you know how last year everybody was calling a sweeper like the slider, basically. So when Paul Skeens throws his split finger, the broadcast and even they showed a graphic, they were calling it a splinger, which is like
Splinker.
a splinker, yeah, which is like a sinker and a split finger. I was like, it sounded odd. It sounded odd. Just
That's a
to,
lot of movement because sinkers just in general just go straight and then it tells down. And then
yeah,
even the split finger as well. It looks like a changeup, but it's more at a faster pace and
yeah,
it goes down as well. So you're seeing some weird. It has to be some weird movement on that pitch,
yeah.
honestly.
I need to go back and see that. I'm gonna call it a split finger, right? But I'm gonna go back. I need to go back and see it. But yeah, it threw me off as I was watching. I was like I had to look. I was like, what is that? But then it made sense. Just
Well, maybe Hunter Brown needs to learn how to throw a splinker. Maybe he has to contact Mr. Paul Skeens in the offseason, see how that goes. But real quick, let's talk about Tyler Anderson, who's been pitching really well. My gosh. I can see him as an all-star this year. He's been pitching really great for this Angels ball club. Last start versus the San Diego Padres, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. His last start against Houston, 8 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 6 hits, 1 earned run. Sorry about that. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. That was a season high in innings against the Astros. He's pitched a lot of games through 7 innings as well. And honestly, Angel, 1 and 2 earned runs. That changeup has been an effective pitch for him, I would say, this season compared from the other season ago.
yeah, I think the Astros need to be watching some Ronel Blanco film to try to get to Tyler Anderson because they both rely heavily on that changeup.
That the El Cambio, as we call it here, that pitch is damn good working for Tyler Anderson. And maybe the Astros just got to scoot up into the batter's box to catch that changeup before it breaks, because that's usually a method told when you see an off speed and you're not seeing it and hitting it very well. Scoot up and before it breaks. So just a little
Or
lesson right there for y'all, even Angel for his Sunday league too.
or pull a Francisco Lindor and just give up on the pitch. Either one works.
He couldn't see it that well. That's what he had said into the media. But yeah, there's your tip of the day for baseball. Sunday, 3:07 start time. Justin Verlander, 3.2 record with a 3.63 ERA. The Astros will be going against Patrick Sandoval, who they have not faced this season. 5 ERA. And Justin Verlander, last start versus the St. Louis Cardinals. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Gave up 3 home runs of his 4 runs given up. There's no secret about that. And Verlander does give up the long ball, but 3 home runs, I didn't see that happening from him. And best believe there's going to be an adjustment coming to pitch against the Angels. Patrick Sandoval, on the other hand, last start versus the San Diego Padres, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Hasn't pitched against Houston this year. He's had back-to-back quality starts, so that's a good thing if you are an Angels fan. But career-wise against Houston, Angel has a record of 0.5, ERA over 8 and 13, and only has 29 strikeouts in 9 appearances. Real quick, let me see in 2023 at least. He had an 0-1 record with an 8.38 ERA, 6 strikeouts in 2 starts against the Astros. The last start, if we're looking at, he went 3 1/3, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He didn't give up the long ball in that start, but he did not pitch very well against the Astros. I'm trying to see who hit that home run for the Astros. You wouldn't have guessed who would have hit the home run for the Astros in his first start in 2023. You want to take a gander at it? You're on mute.
Martin Maldonado.
No, it wasn't Martin Maldonado.
It wasn't.
The Hens house.
Oh,
David
Hensley?
Hensley. David Hensley hit a home run against Patrick Sandoval in that start. So be an interesting matchup here because really both pitchers are trying to get back in the groove of things. And Sandoval has been pitching really well in his back-to-back starts. But Justin Verlander, on the other hand, giving up 3 home runs, I think that left a little sour taste in his mouth. So it'll be a different matchup here with Verlander and Sandoval as well. But this series overall for the Astros, what is it, Angel? Because I always say it. Well, what do you think?
It should be. They should win the series. I'm not say sweep, but they should win the series.
Yeah, the last team in the AL West with a 24-38 record. Yeah, I think I agree with you. It should be a winnable series for
Wait,
them.
what was the record again?
24-38.
Oh, tell me why I heard 8-3. I was like, that's no way.
No,
Yeah.
no, not even close. Not even close. But yeah, I mean the Astros offense all the way looking down because of what did the Angels win that series? Actually, the Angels won the last series against the
I think so.
Astros. Yeah,
Yeah. I think so.
because the first game was Fran Valdez was cruising, but then he lost that game, and then the last game against Tyler Anderson in the series finale, they took care of business. So yeah, best believe the Astros are going to come up firing, pitching, and hitting specifically. And I think even the Astros hitters, the lineup themselves hit really well at Angel Stadium. I don't know if it's because Mickey Mouse
California
is
lights.
just yeah. I don't know if Mickey Mouse is just across the street. That's why it takes a different aspect of the game, but they do hit really well. They have a little bit of California love in them, if as you can say.
Absolutely. But, should be a great series. It should, again, a later start time because it is in that West Coast time, but should be a good one. Now let's move on to the train station. We do have some roster moves to announce. The Astros recalled outfielder Trey Cabbage, which I think a lot of you know that because he did hit a solo home run to put the Astros to cut the Astros lead within one. He comes up from AAA. They optioned Gray Kessinger, and I think this move was typically because Kyle Tucker was not going to play the rest of the series because he did get he did hurt his shin. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And he could also play first base, and then so making use of him there. But it was mostly for that outfield spot. Greg Kessinger wasn't really playing. He's only played in 11 games. Has not recorded a hit, so maybe you can see some playing time over there in AAA. Also, the Astros option left-handed pitcher Park Mashitsky to AAA for right-handed pitcher Nick Hernandez, who the Astros just literally claimed on waivers not too a couple of days ago, like 3 days ago. So that'd be interesting to see there. I think he did pitch. Did he pitch yesterday?
Yeah, he pitched yesterday.
Yeah.
He pitched really well too.
Yeah, so he was in the Astros farm system a while ago. They lost him or let him go or traded him. I didn't really do my research on that, but he is back, and there you go. He made his debut with the Astros.
He's a U of H grad too.
He is, yes, I did. He is.
U of H baseball.
And we also have some injury updates. I think the biggest one is Kyle Tucker, who hit a foul ball directly to his right shin in Monday's game. He was in pain. He was down for I kid you not, maybe like a minute or two, just not moving. So
there was a hot mic too, if you heard.
There
was a hot mic in that
situation. It hurt. Just say it hurt for sure. He was taken out the game. He did try to stay in the game. I don't know if you saw it. So he walked towards the on deck circle. Got his situated, got his back. Walked towards home plate, took a step or two, and he was like, no, that he couldn't do it. So Tucker was still on crutches before Wednesday's game. That was when during the press conference, pre-game conference with Joe Espada, he said that he was still in crutches and he's still day-to-day. So it'll be interesting to see if he's played on Friday. I wouldn't be too surprised if he's done it because, again, if he's still on crutches on Wednesday, I don't think one day after that's going to be enough time to heal. So it'll be
possibly Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, it could be. Also, Alex Bregman was hit in the hand on Tuesday's contest, and he did stay and finish the game. Originally, he was in the lineup for Wednesday's game. He was supposed to be batting second, but was a late scratch because of left-hand soreness. Dubon ended up moving from center field to third base, which he played a really good third base. I don't know if you saw that diving.
You saw that catch. You saw that catch. Gold Glove at its finest right there for him.
And then Jake Myers was supposed to get an extra day off, given the day off today, but he had to go in and play center field because of it. So Joe Espada did say that Bregman is in better position to play on Friday than Tucker is. So, again, something to monitor there. And then Spencer again only lasted 3 innings in his start because he did get hit in the leg as well. But he's doing a lot better. He should be able to make his next scheduled start there. So, nothing too bad there.
Yeah, we got some content with Spencer coming up soon. So,
stay tuned. For sure.
Stay tuned.
And then last before we let y'all go, it's been 50 minutes out here. I know y'all need to get back to y'all.
It's been a little earlier show though.
Yeah.
Too.
So like I know people are tuning in on their lunch break, so they're probably gonna get back to work and
Shout out to y'all. Y'all the
probably
real
get
MVPs.
So, All-Star Game voting is here. Don't forget to vote for your favorite players, Astros, whatever you're gonna vote for. Um, I know there's a little trend going that the White Sox fans are trying to get Martin
I've seen it.
in the All-Star Game with a 679 batting average. I don't
Good
know.
for the South Side. Good for them. Good for them.
I'm glad they got somebody to vote for over there, right? But yeah,
Pretty sure some Astro fans here and there probably do the same thing if they're going to join the movement.
yeah, could be. And then I think a total of 9 Astros qualified for that, so Astros fans have a ton to work with there. And then the London series is also scheduled to start on Saturday. That's between the Mets and the Phillies. Saturday's game starts at 12:10 p.m., so it should be an easy watch. But on Sunday's game, 9:10 a.m. So get those fantasy lineups set early, pick up those moves because once the game starts, obviously you can't do anything else. So, and also wake up early on Sunday, go to church, and then go watch the Sunday game, 9:10 a.m. earlier start than usual.
Yeah, and tell an Angel that because he got to get his lineup fixed up, ready for Sunday shoot.
Of course.
Yeah. But also, did you hear about the betting incident going on?
Oh yeah, how did I forget about that? I'm in charge of this one.
So I want to say there's 4 players. I don't have
Let
their
me
names on me right now.
I got you.
You go real quick. There's 4 players that's banned from baseball for a year, I want to say. And I know there's one specific player in the Pirates organization, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He's banned for life.
Oh, I got
playing
you.
baseball. So
Tucupita Marcano is banned for life for betting on Pirates games. While he was with the Pirates, didn't win. Lost a good amount of money. I think he placed bets on 387 baseball bets and then lost I think more than $150,000 there. So he's banned for life. Oakland A's pitcher Michael Kelly was also suspended for a year. So was pitcher Jay Groom, San Diego pitcher Andrew Frank, and infielder Jose Rodriguez of Philadelphia.
I don't know what to say about these players. I mean, in my mind, if I'm a player, I'm enjoying it. Why are you gonna bet on baseball? Like, why?
I mean, they make a pretty good sum of money. Oh,
exactly. I understand trying to make a parlay like to win more, but at the same time, too, what is that doing any good?
History repeats stuff.
History does. But that's the end of our show. We had a great crowd. Shout out to y'all, like Angel had said, and taking time out of your day for your lunch break, or just chilling at your house. So we appreciate the time for you checking in with us. But that's the end of our show. Continue to follow us at Full Steam Ahead, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok as well. Like we said, we got some content coming up with Spencer Urquidy, which he's been pitching really well for the Astros here and there. Make sure you like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, this video specifically. So we appreciate your support, and follow us on our platforms from Spotify to Apple Podcasts. Make sure you go out there, leave us some ratings, give us some comments, how we doing, some feedback. We love looking at that, trying to improve ourselves. But the Astros will be on the West Coast, Los Angeles Angels, then the San Francisco Giants. Angel, you got anything else before we sign off?
No, 2 great series. Stay tuned for what's coming next. Maybe for the next podcast I have as well, we talk about the Giants. But thank you for listening, and
yeah, y'all have a safe weekend. Y'all have an enjoyable weekend. Make sure to take in that time to look at that Super Regionals. Of course, Major League Baseball is going. NBA Finals start tonight, Angel. The final start. Who do you got real quick?
I got Mavs.
He lived in Dallas at a time. I am sorry to everybody. He lived at Dallas for 2 years. I am sorry to hear. You had to hear that. But yeah, I'm going with the Celtics. I'm going with the C's. I think Jason Tatum's playing good basketball. Same thing as Jaylen Brown. They got to continue doing that work. See, I can't control that. I'm sorry, everybody. But y'all have a safe weekend. Y'all be blessed. If y'all going to that Mexico game, like Angel had said, y'all stay safe. Have a great time. But we'll have that recap against the Angel series, and we'll get that preview going against Los Gigantes, the Giants. So be blessed. See you then.